I mean, I remember the first time I read your writing, and I was like, this is exactly what I'm trying to make. And yeah, it's just incredible set. Incredible set. So thankful for it. It's Mother's Day. Yeah, my relationship, you know, I was trying to think 2 days ago, I was up and chilling out with friends and trying to think of what my set should be. And someone said, yeah, you should read about your mother. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You know? that is something that happens. My mom is a Jehovah's Witness. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, which means that the only holiday that I've celebrated is the death of Jesus Christ. Very, very sobering people, the Jehovah's Witnesses. And now, you know, I mean, I've been out for many years, and I celebrate everything as much as possible. But Mother's Day is interesting, because it kind of requires for your mother to celebrate it too, you know? And so that kind of led to this poem. This is like a brand new poem. Yeah, just never clapping with that. What are y'all doing? You don't clap with that. You were waiting for us. I was waiting for you to do it. Of course I was. You're here, Peter. I have better expectations for you.
It's not in polite company out here.
It's fine. It's fine. All right. Okay. This has no title. Brand new. Holding in the dull cold another mother's orchid. A friend is building a home with the kind of sun that I will never have. Housewarming is one of those strange almost holidays, an occasion more than a station placed on a people by Congress or God. Today, my mom, a devout follower of an American Yahweh, will spend her afternoons watching Mother's Day not exist. No day belongs to a creature so unworthy of praise as a human. Worldly in the Gadsby sense. The world is a piss cloud briefly blocking the welcome blinding of a righteous abstraction. A brainless spark of pagan joy at odds with the hope for death of this wicked place. I live in sin. A bus ride south in an artful cocoon of community, white as the down stuffing of this priced second-hand puffy coat, black as a lump of Christmas coal. I am here too, Mom, waiting alone and silent as another annual joy, sweet as funfetti, wafts over us, thinking of you in car rides and inoffensive jazz, and the sword of Christ destroying all our pain as indifferent as an atom bomb. A man who looks like my dad wobbles by, pushing a half cart full of trash bags, and blesses my bloodline for being the first person today to look him in the eye. This is a cover.
Oh.
Anybody like Elizabeth Stanton? Yeah, shout for Elizabeth Stanton, right? Edit, like Philly poet, long time. Fucking, you know, like partner of Joey Sweeney, who's also been doing incredible shit in the city for a long time. If you haven't gone to the 48th Club right above Sassafras, Vinyl Club over there, it's fucking dope. Please go. She's there all the time. Anyway, she's putting out a book very soon, and this is a poem from it. Lots of poems about motherhood, and yeah, amazing, very Gen X book of poems. It's a blast. This poem's called Devotion. Your mother's a creep. Everyone's mother is a creep. We have envelopes of your teeth in our bedside drawers. Clippings of your hair. We check your browser history. Listen to your footsteps at night. Back and forth to the bathroom. Listen even harder if you're there for too long. The self is a relatively recent construct. 100 years ago, there were far fewer ways to say mine. Your clothes we sniff. Try to guess what you want for dinner, what you had for lunch. In the I and thou model, all meaning stems from relationships. The other, the stand-in for the God who is always absent. We try to take your picture when you're not looking. We're everything we warn you about. We are. That's devotion. It's a badass book. Look out for it. It was kind of I had the pleasure to work with Allison Lubar. Shouts for Allison Lubar. Amazing Philadelphia. Anything her name is on go. For a work with a dancer. And the dancer's performance was about Amy Winehouse and her mother. It involved a bench. Hey, Julia. Hi. Good to see you. Sorry. Love your shirt. Yeah, and it was, and like there was a bench that was involved, so she kind of like a bench was on top of her, and she was on top of a bench, and all of these different kinds of things. And it was about her mother, it was about Amy Winehouse. I was like, oh, I really want to write an original poem, and I realized I didn't really write much about my mother, and kind of like the role of motherhood. And so this is what came out of it. It's called Bench Seats. Bench as a box that holds the sheet music locked away. Benches providing shade from the stage lights while stacked in the holds. The stage mice tending to themselves, savoring the quiet of their savior. A silent holder of the butt end of a celebrated maestro. A bench is balanced on my mother's back when gliding past the heavy curtain opening, heaving to the center of the play by small, rough-hand stage crew. We sit on our mothers all the time, leave them tipped over, stiff as wooden planks, legs straight where a songbird's voice once flowed through. A bit player chained to a piano all his life dies early and exhausted and mute. The dark, silent beauty underneath, so long an impediment, marveled at while stillborn, still and furniture dusted, locked out from herself like a copyrighted centerfold. Bench, the weight you press in crowded gyms, covered in sweat and groaning, actually refers to the steel girding of the equipment you return to every morning. Use an equipment for long enough, and people start to mistake it for their own actions. The soapbox you stand on top of for want of a stage, the waiting place that never moved, an awkward home for the houseless moment you never expected, when camouflaging your need to sit on something solid and smooth to the touch, like a husband or a religion or that sweet friend that escaped. Please consider sliding onto whatever unlatched thing you find still attached to yourself, Mom. Consider rolling on an unmopped linoleum in a loose dress, alive and full. Consider any sweet sound you hear, yours included, me sometimes returning to the gym whenever I can, whenever you want, dumbbells ringing dull to a soft coo when near. the floor, such a good place to hold hands. Thanks. I made a series of poems about programming concepts. This is one that is also about my mother somehow. It's called procedural programming. A way of building a family is by building a meal. Summing pork chop sizings by the personality consuming, budget bi-weekly, and garnish with a feel of salt. My mother brain intuits the need till it automates into a show-tune bridge, humming to pastime, spending, compiling things. A way of thinking of an object is the tail end of your cook, that every leanable construction, a sequence of limbs, are made to bend in line with some small human sight, iterating when they whine that it is not to their taste, this recipe for life. Twisting another screw at child. Another generation attempts to house again, learning the steps, the dance that white might as well be a spice, forgetting the tech, the third instruction on how to fasten a wall, a cake sweep weekend under air conditioning, running hot while teaching a box on the spectrum this every meal, writing my robot 10,000 lines, but never quite finding the shade of her song. And I'm going to do one more. Oh no. Was this, did I leave it? Did I leave a poem over there?
Not over here.
No? Fuck, where's Joyride?
It's the back, please.
Is it in the back? Is there any other paper in the back? I
There's paper in the back.
There's paper in the back. Hey. Thank you, Sammy. This is Sammy. Hands for Sammy. What would I do without them? Alright. This is not necessarily about my mother, but I like the poem, and I never knew that. Alright. This is called Joyride. Most things don't require a god, an ottoman. The Rocky Mountains, a handful of dirt, my snoring cat's tensing leg while trapped in a dream. Most things don't require language, the sun. A cheap grocery store plant, its weakened stalk dehydrated as a hangover, arching towards a patch of window isn't sad until I shaped a collection of pixels into a font size. This YouTube of condos getting shot in the face in Kiev. The day the trade towers puffed into liquid, an iguana will pluck a hovering insect off its own eye, an Olympic display of dexterity, and the language will never exist. What is an iguana but an interesting dance on a Tonto's tongue right before Columbus decided they would make good Christians and then killed them fools like a G? Iguanas don't exist. In the same way a word is a shadow formed when some actual vibration of space-time is occluded by a Columbus. Most things don't have a gender or a race. The sky, an actual Venus moon, an eye tooth in English. After the second tower's load-bearing struts were impaled by an F-150's pinwheeling axle, a detached skippet surfing on a cruise missile's wake, a snot bubble will pop off the nose of a delighted infant a few kilometers north of Johannesburg. a piece of styrofoam pressed into a distressed slab of ware is a rock if there's no scales left to weigh it. So I, thank my lucky stars for the way the morning slices through my loft's open window. I praise God. Most things aren't alive and most things are not human. Columbus shot a trade tower into half the world's temples, and the species died, and the iguanas became a cartoon fiction, and the gods choked on their own backstories as the words carved into the clouds, the digits all zeroed and silent, the cattle prod of electron bursts, now a hum, and even that, just a voice, a hollow of water burping from under a churning wave. Most things don't have a soul if there even is one. A disturbance of warm air, the song of the summer and a shotgun, a well-constructed birthday cake full of purple fondant and imperial pipes, a human heart, just the flesh of it, on a surgical table, and a floor tom crashing. Most things, almost everything, does not have a soul, love, but not you. Not you. I said and smiled through blood-warm tears from an adjacent seat in the hull of this spasming airplane. Not us, my love. Not yet. Thank you.